Today, in this video, we will work through making changes to First Baptist Canton. Here's your site. First thing you will need to do is log in. You will go to your URL /wp-admin. Use the credentials that were given for the admin login, and it'll take you to the back side of your site. So here's your dashboard, and the video we will work through what's important here for you all, for your church specifically. First up is if you notice something is going slow or wrong with your site, and you're about to contact us, you can always check here. So right now these plugins need to be updated. We have a process where we will do that for you. It just hasn't been done yet today. So for example, if any of these weren't done and your site was wrong, you can always just update plugins and see if that fixes your issue. If not, shoot us an email and we will get to working on that. The next thing for Canton is you have a media. So this is where all of your photos, if you guys had sermons or something, but here's where all of that is. You just simply add new, select your files, update them, and that is all. You guys have a contact form, and it's here in the form page, or the form section. So here's that. If you needed to make any changes to that, you click on it. So here's all the fields that are being used. If you decide you need something else, all of these are options to the right. There's just basic ones. You can do like a checkbox, maybe like, have you been here before? Yes or no. Let's just do that one for an example. So you click on it, it moves it to the bottom. You can move it to wherever you want. So say it's up here. You go into edit it, push the little drop down, and put the title, and then say first choice, yes, second choice, no, and then you don't want a third choice. So then that will be added to your contact page, or contact form. We don't want that, so I'm just going to move it off. But there are all of these options of things. You can do an email address, website, anything you needed for that. And you just make sure, most important thing for WordPress is you update the changes you're making. Otherwise, no changes will be made. So that's how you update your form. A new form is pretty similar. Give it a title, prayer request, and then you just start. So for our names, we like to do the single line text. Seems to work better. You just name it name. And then for a chunk of text like a prayer request, you could do this paragraph text, select it, change the name if it will let me, and then it could be as simple as that. A lot of times you don't want this, some people don't want to put their name on a prayer request, so this doesn't have to be required. If you did want for some other form for it to be required, you'll put required, you'll put an asterisk, and it won't accept the form until that has been filled in. But we're not going to do this. So I'm going to move that to the trash. So if you're done with something, just trash it. And that's all. Next, you have your pages. So this is where all of your pages are on your site. So all of these different pages here. Let's go to your ministries. Here's where you have, so for example, this would be a good example. If you need to update any of your ministries, time, meeting, or anything like that, you can go here. This is where they are. So say now you meet on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays for some reason. Those are what those are. If you make any changes, this works a lot like a word processor, so just like Microsoft Word or something else like Google Docs. This is a heading 1, so it makes it big, like so. These are paragraph text, and here's the italicized. You can bold, so say you want Bible bold to be bolded. You can do that. You can also make a list of what to bring for something or anything like that. This just acts like a word processor. Again, you can update immediately here. If you just want to say, I want to see what that looks like, preview your changes, and then make sure you update it to make it live. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to save it. Here's our staff members. So we have these listed out here. So if you need to make any changes within this, so here we have Sherry, and here's Sherry's bio that you guys provided. So if you needed to make any changes, like now Sherry loves to ride horses. Whatever you need to do there, you can make that underlined. You can italicize it. You see the picture there. And again, update any changes you make. And if you need to add a new staff member, here's where you will do that. So whoever works for you there, and then here's their staff member name. We can see how that looks. So they would go here, position, and if you want to email, go there. Not going to save this because we didn't do anything. This is just it's more for us. You don't need to make any changes on this. Appearance, again, not super a lot of changes, but one thing. So you notice up here you have this is your header and then your menu options. Down here you have your footer where we have the map and these service times. Those changes are going to be made in appearance under widgets. So here is where all of that is. So, for your header, here's where you have your the words FBC Canton up here. And then we have your navigation menu. Here we have it set to main menu. I'll show you how to make changes to your menu later. But that's where that is. And then again, so here's your footer. So here's where your Google Map is for this side. And here's the text on this other side right here. So if you needed to make any changes for, again, service times or something, that would all be here. And then an important thing to note for the widgets are each time, like if you made a change in here, each widget has its own save button. There isn't a large save button down here. So if you make a change in here, you need to go saved or save and make sure it becomes saved. And that's where that is. Here's your menu. So for now, this is where these are all at, and these are the drop-down ones. Here, these are all the drop-down. So you'll see how that's set up as a sub-item. If you needed to add anything or change anything, it's really easy. You just pick it up and just move it around. So now you want Sunday school to be like a bigger deal. You can bring it up here, drop it there, and that's where it'll live. And here's where all that is. So if you need to add a different page, if you add a new page for some reason, we'll just do staff again, add to menu. That adds it to the bottom. So if you're like, I need this to go under sermons, and that's where that will go. Going to delete that. But pretty simple. Again, save your menu at the bottom. Then we went through plugins, but here's where all of your plugins are. But we went through that at the beginning. And again, here's another place where you can update them, update available. Here are your users. So here's the administration email if you need, or the administration login that I mentioned. So when you log in, you'll use this FBC Canton and then the password that was provided. If you need to add a new user, you will just type in here. We'll just use the same example, give them the email, so that's the email that this change will go to, show the password. So here's where all of your passwords are. So on the other FBC Canton, if you guys want to make your email make more sense, you could just change it right here to whatever you want it to be. And then make sure you add a new user, but yours will say update user. you'll just update that. That's how you will make your password not all that gibberish that's automatically generated, as you saw. It just makes its own up. And then role however you want them to be. If you want them to make changes, the new person, you just need them to be an administrator. I don't want to add this person, so we're not going to go there. Here are your settings. This is just your site title, format, nothing too fancy here. This right here is the email address, so this is set. This is where your forms will go. So if you want your forms to go anywhere else, you'll change your email address here. But this is where everything's going right now. And then I think that's all for you guys need on here. Don't believe we have any custom fields. No. So slider evolution, that's this part on your home page. You have a slider set up here where it has the photo and then the text. If you needed to make any changes to that, this slider revolution is a bit more complicated, so if you have any in-depth changes, feel free to let us know. But if you want to add a new picture to go behind this, you can just do add a blank slide. And then how we have yours set up, so it just stays like this and then moves, is you go here to main background image, media library, choose whatever picture you want, insert, so that will become the back of these pictures. I'm going to delete this before I forget. But you will notice the text is always on there, like the text never changes here. So you will go, if you needed to make any changes to that, you go to the slider, static global layer, and here's where that is. So if you wanted to change your little tagline or your church, that's where the text is at. And then any changes you make, again, make sure you hit this green save. Word fence, this is where we protect your site from hackers or anything. We take care of this, so there's no really anything for you to do on that. Google Maps. So here's where your Google Map at the bottom, remember? That's where you guys are. If you needed to change anything, you're going to go to Manage Maps, Edit, and then like here's everything on it. And then if you wanted to change, say, this marker, you go to choose icon, and there are countless little things on here you guys could choose, like a light bulb or this thing. You can make it however you want it to be or leave it how it is, and just choose it, save map. And that pretty much wraps up your site. Again, the main things are if you need to make any text changes to your pages, your photos are there, anything you need to do around that. And that sums it up. Let us know if you have any other questions. No.